20-year-old Sanaa covers her face. It's a face she'd rather not look at anymore. Photographs the only reminder of her beauty that once was. Sanaa's tragic story takes place in Sudan, following a forced marriage to a man 28 years her senior. This man tricked Sanaa's own brother into throwing what he said was a magic water on her face that would bring the couple closer together.
Men aligned with the government have been stealing crucial aid supplies, and there have been accusations of rape. A 25-year-old woman describes how she was raped and shot in the leg by government soldiers.
I resisted and I tried to run from him and I screamed. People woke up and he shot me 4 times.
Another woman who was 9 months pregnant says she was gang raped by men in military uniforms.
I was sleeping and woke up to discover that someone was pointing a gun at me and a flashlight in my eyes. When I got up, they told me to keep silent, and when they all finished, they left me.
This is the harsh reality of how the police behaves in smaller towns or behaves with people from the marginalized sections.
On the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, commonly known as CEDAW. CEDAW is the only treaty to focus on the human rights of women.
Women's equality has rightly been called the moral imperative of the 21st century. Gender inequality and violations of women's human rights, including the use of rape as a tool of war, acid attacks, female infanticide, female genital mutilation, so-called honor killings, the trafficking of women and girls into modern-day slavery, and so much more, is nothing short of a humanitarian tragedy of enormous proportions around the globe.
By ratifying CEDAW, almost every other country in the world has affirmed the importance of progress for women and girls, and that the United States has not is deeply unfortunate. It fails to reflect our country's proud tradition of leadership on women's rights. Our failure to ratify has denied women and girls around the world U.S. leadership on the implementation of CEDAW, and it has denied women and girls in our own country the benefits of important lessons about effective strategies used in other countries. Simply put, U.S. ratification of the Women's Treaty will strengthen our long-standing role as a global leader, standing up for women's rights and human rights. And our leadership is sorely needed. Of the 1.3 billion people living in poverty around the world, 70% are women. An estimated 5,000 women a year are called in the name of honor for being a victim of rape or for talking to a man who is not a relative. Rape is used as a routine weapon of war in too many conflicts. Women and girls are crying out for the United States' assistance.
I'm a strong supporter of it. It is currently pending in the Senate. We want the Senate to pass it. The Senate has had a busy agenda and it moves slowly as it is.
We received this treaty in the United States Congress for ratification 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Violence against women in the world today is at epidemic level. For example, CEDAW has led to the passage of laws prohibiting violence against women in countries like Afghanistan, Ghana, Mexico, and Sierra Leone. It led to women being given the right to vote in Kuwait. It's been ratified in 186 out of 193 countries. Sadly, the United States is not one of the nations that has ratified this treaty. Look at the company we are keeping and refusing to ratify this treaty. Now, these are Pacific Islands, which may not be well known to most. They're very small. And then look at the other nations of the world that have said, with the United States, we are not going to ratify this treaty on the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. Look at the company we're keeping: Iran, Somalia, and Sudan. We can do better.